I'm going to start out here with a basic hardware overview of the unit. It's really nice and lightweight, but it still feels really sturdy in this full aluminum enclosure. The response and the touch sensors on the faders and buttons up here is amazing. These pads became an immediate favorite of mine as soon as I touched them for a couple of reasons. The sensitivity is obviously amazing, but also the size of them is just perfect. They're bigger than the buttons on a launch pad, but smaller than your average drum pad, so you can have more of them. Just for comparison here, I borrowed some buttons from one of my older launch pads. So I don't have any big drum pads, but you can tell that they're kind of smaller there. Everything about how they function in here is perfect, with one exception, and that being that depending on the lighting that you're in, the backlighting and the pads can look a little weak. But personally, I don't really think that's a problem for two reasons. The first being that it's probably pretty rare that producers and performers will be using this in a situation where the direct lighting is like blinding the pads, but the second being that just hovering your shadow over will make the lights visible again, so it's not too much of an issue for me at least. I personally think that the coolest thing about bass is that it has the ability to easily evolve and adapt with you over time, much like all Livid controllers. I mean, depending on whatever your wants and needs are that you have for it at a given time, it can provide advanced integration with your software of choice, whether it's via pre-existing script or mapping or via script or mapping that you create yourself for it. I've seen this work with the remote scripts for Ableton Live and Reason, with mappings for Tractor. I've seen it working with Max for Live devices. I've even seen the Livid people using it in a Bitwig Studio beta, and I've seen it controlling visuals, because it can do that. It's not limited to audio programs or anything like that, which is cool. I've personally used it with some pre-existing Tractor mappings, and also in Cubase 7 with some mappings that I did in the controller editor for it. But just to give an example of bass integration with something, I'm playing around with the Livid remote script for Live 9 right now in the new template from Bandersnatch. We of course have this launch mode here on button 1, so these buttons, as you can imagine I'm sure, let you navigate your session, launch clips and things like that. You navigate these 4 buttons here. The faders let you control your track volumes, and these let you select tracks. On these 2 buttons over here you have a device mode and a send mode that turns the grid into a musical scale like you'd see on a keyboard, or like push or something like that, so you can play it that way. Or you can play the grid like a drum rack. And your faders will control different parameters depending on which mode you're in. Obviously, if you're in send and return mode, this will control your sends and return. Over here is your sends. And these are your returns. And on the device mode, these are going to control 8 parameters of devices. Or if you've got macros set up, this will control macros. In this Bandersnatch Ableton Live template here, he's got 8 macros set up on all of his instruments racks, which is pretty cool because you can change up the chain and whatever instrument you're playing. For instance, but these functions aren't exclusive to MIDI tracks. I mean, they can work on audio tracks too. The only thing that's going to change is this grid is going to, I'll demonstrate it on the microphone. This grid is now going to turn into clip launch mode. In the launch mode, if I had clips here, you'd be able to launch them. This still controls sends and returns, so I'll breathe. This is my compressor parameters and stuff, but we'll leave those alone and save your ears for now. Another important feature of this script is that these mode buttons here can be held and they'll send you into shift mode. So over here you can this is going to change your musical scale. And this is going to change your root note. You'll get feedback on that inside of your Ableton Live window. You can also control basic mixer functions down here, like record arms and stop all clips, track activate, and things like that. You can also activate a step sequencer in your instrument track by doing this. And then when you do that, now holding the shift button is going to let you control your clip parameters. I've only honestly given a very basic overview of some of the things that it's capable of in Live 9, because we'd probably be here for a few hours if I demonstrated everything that this controller can do, because it can be incredibly powerful with whatever you pair it up with. I honestly wouldn't mind being here for a few hours, because it'd be pretty fun, but my memory card on this camera doesn't have that much space. With that said, I definitely encourage you to go to the Livid Instruments website or their wiki portal, definitely their YouTube channel, so you can see all of the things it's capable of doing. You'll find a lot of great info, and the Livid people are wonderful to deal with too. And if you like the sounds that I've used in this video, you can get details on the Bandersnatch Ableton Live template below, so you can go download it and play around with those too.